2025 top 247 rankings. And where to start? Let's start at the top. There is a change. New number one player in the country. That is Bryce Underwood out of Belleville High School in Michigan, overtaking David Sanders out of North Carolina, the former number one. He drops back to number two. We'll talk about him in a second. But Drew, this was long debated. I think there was a little bit of a split in the clubhouse which way we would go here, but too much to pass up with the quarterback and the guy of Bryce Underwood with the resume that he has. I believe 30-1 at Belleville. You take into consideration the fact that he should be a 2026, doesn't turn 17 until next August. Just too much to like there, Drew.
He is, Cooper. And, I went back and you start going through his games, what he has done as a junior. He's been near perfect, and he's not 30-1 as a starter. He's 40-1 as starter. Bellevue has won 38 straight games with Underwood at quarterback. Last year, it was their first undefeated regular season ever. They won a Michigan Division I state title. They'll play for another state title this weekend at Ford Field on Sunday. Underwood, his team's got a good running game. But when he needs to air it out, he can. He can make every throw on the field. And I think Coop, what really kind of pushed him over the edge is obviously positional value, but it's just his dynamic pocket movements. He has improved so much in that area, the internal clock, the ability to escape, but not only look to move the chains with his legs, keeping his eyes downfield and finding his wide receivers. And Coop, he's now got a grade of a 99, right, for us at 24/7 Sports. I noted this in the story I put out. That's kind of a rare fraternity for him. Usually we're way more reserved when it comes to moving a guy up. Take a look at Dante Moore, who was also from the Detroit area, had a very similar resume to Bryce Underwood. When he left his junior season, he was just a 95 for us. So he's all the way up to a 99 overall. This guy is clean. He is clean as a quarterback prospect. The offense is averaging 49.5 points per game. He's only thrown 2 interceptions to 40 touchdowns. So it's just really the total package. And you mentioned it. He's on the younger side. He's not going to turn 17 until this summer. He's only 16 years old. It's kind of crazy when you take a step back and look at everything.
He's just a puppy. He's got a decision coming down the pipeline as well. He'll make a decision. He'll come off the board in January. LSU, Penn State, Michigan, the hometown team, all involved there. But Drew, as we alluded to last week, Penn State's taking a quarterback in Beckham Kritza in 2025. Same with Michigan with Carter Smith. So we'll see what happens. It looks like LSU right now, the leader in the clubhouse for the new number one player in the country.
Yeah, I believe it was reported this morning that he's going to be in Baton Rouge this upcoming weekend. And 24/7 Sports Director of Recruiting Steve Wiltfong has fired in a crystal ball pick for the Tigers. We mentioned, hey, what's next post Jaden Daniels there in Baton Rouge? And, he's kind of got that X factor with his legs. Now, I'm not saying Bryce Underwood is the same type of runner. I went back and looked at Jaden Daniels' senior stuff when he was coming out of high school. He ran for 1,800 yards as a senior there. Bryce Underwood, I think he's only up to 180 on the season, ran for 600 as a sophomore at Bellevue. But I do think he has that element in terms of the ability to extend plays and kind of create at the second level as a runner.
Drew, I want to go off-roading here a little bit. Underwood, a 2025, should be a 2026. We talked about his age earlier. You think about the reclass, not a lot of time to do it potentially, but you think about a guy in Underwood, right? We've seen this trend at the quarterback position. It would have to happen quick. What do you think about that guy? 42 games started. He's been starting for 3 years. The resume is super clean. If there was a guy to kind of get into that conversation a little bit, and I guess the way that I'm phrasing this is, if he doesn't reclass, I also think this is a guy that can get on the field early at the next level, whether it's in Baton Rouge or somewhere else.
Well, I think if you try to pick apart Bryce Underwood's game, where are the deficiencies? I think for me, going to what he has done in the playoffs right here, I think he needs to improve, maybe the short to intermediate parts, but I was blown away by his ability to just drive the football down the field. I didn't realize he had that type of arm strength. And I've been around Bryce. I've seen him play the past 2 years, 7-on-7 at the Battle Miami tournament. He has progressed. So, it would be interesting, right? Because we did the study on all the guys that have reclassified, and it really hasn't worked out. And we've Colin Hurley in the LSU's 2024 class. He was a guy that moved from 2025. I think initially for us it was like, hey, he hasn't played as many games. Now you look at Bryce Underwood, he's seen the live bullets, right? He's about as battle tested as they can get. So It would certainly be interesting. I think you are right. The age and the maturity, a bit of a question mark, but you talk to anyone that's familiar with Bryce Underwood, you spend some time with him. I mean, he has it kind of wired in between the ears. So that would certainly, add a little bit of a twisted element to his recruitment.
So there you have it, Bryce Underwood, your new number one in the class of 2025. That means David Sanders, the former number one, he goes to number two. And Drew, I kind of look at this in a situation, not number one, not number two, but a little bit of 1A, 1B. We love David Sanders. Like I said, there are a lot of people banging the table for David Sanders. You turn on the tape this year, the prototypical left tackle, exactly what you want. Drew, I don't know about you. The thing that blew me away, the defensive snaps. And I'm not saying that he's going to play on the defensive side of the ball at the next level, but it says a lot of a player of his stature, ranked where he is, to play on the defensive side of the ball and have the type of production that he's had. He's everything you want in that cornerstone left tackle position. What do you like about David Sanders here?
He's been our guy from the jump, Coop. I was kind of one of the ones leading the charge to keep him number one and let it play out here over the next 18 months. I mean, go back to August of 2022 when we came out with our initial 100. He was at the top. David Sanders was number one. I saw him at the FBU Freshman All-American game, and then we saw him at the Under Armour camp there in Atlanta, gave him a battlefield promotion. He was our first 5-star prospect in the class. I mean, this is our guy. He checks off box after box. Yes, he's on the leaner side, but the athletic markers, I mean, you're talking 112-inch broad jump, 7.75 in the 3-cone drill. He's also got a 53.35 shot put. And then those defensive snaps, right? We know this guy needs to put on some weight, but I think how he moves people out of the way at the point of attack on both sides of the ball is certainly notable. Providence Day School, they're looking for their third straight title, state title in the state playoffs there. And he's a guy on defense, 32 quarterback hurries, 7 sacks in 13 games. So he has progressed. I think he is on schedule for us. I've compared him in the past to Charles Cross, the former Mississippi State offensive lineman who went in the top 10 to the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, this is, you said the word prototypical. These are the guys you try to find, and not to off-road here, but I do think it's a strong year when it comes to corner protectors because we found some other offensive tackles we like in 2025.
Tennessee, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, all involved with David Sanders. No shortage of suitors. It seems like his recruitment is really just starting to pick up, as crazy as that sounds. So David Sanders, still one of the most highly regarded players in the class of 2025. Somebody going to be really lucky with him.